everybody, I'm Chelsea. I'm gonna have to speak very loud because I'm in a brewery. Can you hear me? Alright, so I'm gonna be talking about hops, obviously, because I'm in a brewery. And hops is also known as Humulus lupulus, and you can remember this because the end word lupulus sounds like loopy, and when you drink beer, you get loopy, woo, a little bit. But hops are also used medicinally for a very large amount of medicinal purposes. The Native Americans would actually use hops to calm anxiety. They would also use it to reduce fever. They would also use it to relieve that muscle tension that you get after long days of work when they would chop down wood and go work for long periods of time. They would make a tea and just relax after they had that. They also used it for insomnia, so they would use it to induce sleep and relaxation. And that's actually a very common use for hops today, is to just relax and go to sleep. Other uses are mental exhaustion, so for people who overthink, like all of us, we overthink and overdo it, the hops just kind of let everything kind of go. Hops are also used as an antispasmodic, so they're really good for menstrual cramps. Ladies, listen up. Menstrual cramps, we all got that. So dysmenorrhea, you can make a cup of tea of hops and that can actually decrease the muscle cramps. It's also used, last but not least, to flavor beer. So hops has a very antimicrobial property to it, and they actually figured out that hops had that property when they were trying to ship beer from Britain to India. They realized that when they were shipping beer from British to India, that the beer would spoil, and so if they used hops, that they would preserve the beer even longer. So hence the name India Pale Ale. So India Pale Ale, or IPA beers, come from the idea that hops were used to preserve the beer. So IPAs are very high in bitter principles, or IBUs, International Bitter Units. So the higher the bitter principles, the more medicinal the beer. So when you're buying your Bud Light, don't do it. Get an IPA, even though you might not like it, but get lower. But anyway, so another thing that I would like to mention is that you can grow hops at home. You can actually buy the roots online for $5 or $10. There are several different varieties of hops. There's Centennial hops, there's Sanook hops, there's Saaz hops, there's Cascade hops, and they can be all found online, usually in about the springtime. So if you want to grow them at home, you can do so. They love water, they love attention. They actually grow in long vines, and they will take over your yard. So make sure you have enough room for them to grow. Make sure they're not attached to any trees that you don't like. Now, recent research that I would like to specify has been cancer research, and the xanthohumol is actually the active ingredient in hops that actually prevents angiogenesis. So it helps prevent the spread of cancer, which is very important for both leukemia, bone cancer, any kind of cancer in that matter. It also is good for weight loss and diabetes management, and can actually decrease the inflammation in the body. In safety concerns, it's very safe. So you can take hops when you're pregnant, you can take hops when you're a child or for your baby through the breast milk. However, if you're on any kind of, if you have breast cancer or any high estrogenic condition, it is advised to just kind of watch that and to be careful and have caution with using hops in excessive amounts. But it is very safe. So hops are identified by these little flowers here called strobiles. They're also called cones, and if they are, this is actually dried, but if they're fresh, you can open them and you'll, you can see a yellow dust inside, not here because they're dried, and that's called lupulone, and that's the active constituent or the bitter principles that are used.